Hi, this is the Professional Amateur coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Horror Tales 666 Part 3. And this 2022 anthology film has lots of different directors and lots of different actors. I think the main person who put it together was Phil Harmon. And so yeah, let's talk about it. So this is an anthology film, so it has lots of different stories in it. For my quick rundown, with the stories, there's one about this guy who wants to scare his wife to death. They have one about mobsters, and I didn't really understand that one, and that one ends very strangely as well. They have one about this wife who is not treated very well by her husband. They have one where it's like a home invasion thing that's really short. They have one with this ghost, and this ghost is attached to this vase or vessel, and so whoever owns the vase sees the ghost, that type of stuff. And then they have one that's like a silent movie type of style with this vampire, and so that can be also interesting. And of course, that's all, surrounded by the wraparound story, which I guess started in Horror Tales 666 Part 1 and 2, but it's this guy, and he's trapped in this basement by a witch and a ghost, and he is forced to read all of these stories before they'll let him go. So, will he read all of these stories? Well, you have to watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, this film is an anthology, so it has these little films within the bigger film. And all of them, I gotta say, did a good job. They're all zero budget, so they all have absolutely, no money to film with. Some of them look like they've even just filmed it on their phone as well. And of course, they have a basement. They're filming in the basement. They have a couch. They film on the couch. And all of that different type of stuff. So I gotta commend them on that. All their films definitely work where, they have an introduction, a little rising action, and a climax. It's all very quick, of course, but it definitely does work as, individual stories. So that's all good. And with this movie, as you go along, they do get better and better. So as an audience member, you're just increasing your engagement as you go along that way. So all of that definitely works for sure. In addition, I did enjoy the wraparound story, probably for the wrong reasons though. With this one, it's probably started in, parts 1 and 2, so it's just a continuation. And I imagine it's the same style. I haven't seen part 1s and 2, so I don't really know. But it's this thief, I guess, and he has broken into this house, and he is kind of abused and trapped by this ghost and this witch, and they're just there abusing him. Read these stories or else we're going to do this and that to you. And that type of stuff. And he's scared of these ghosts and witches. And so he's reading these stories. But also it seems like reading is scary to him. He's not a very good reader, of course. Or at least that's the way it's portrayed. And he is having such a hard time reading it. Where he's almost more scared to read the stories rather than, having to deal with this witch and ghost. And so that's kind of funny. Again, I think it's kind of like a car wreck that, you can't look away from, where it's just, you're looking for the wrong reasons, right? And so I enjoyed it. Probably some other people out there will, but I think a lot of people will not really kind of get the humor behind the wraparound story. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but again, for the wrong reasons probably. Also with these films, I think a lot of them are kind of endearing. It seems like it's just like a husband and wife just filming together, they have an afternoon off or whatever, and they plan it, they put in the effort, and so it is what it is. But you can tell, as an audience member, that these people care for what they've made, so that is good. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, it is part 3, so I've never seen parts 1 and 2, so I would have liked a little explanation about the wraparound, about who this guy is, what he's doing in this basement, but they don't really give it, so you kind of have to figure it out yourself. He does just state that he's, trapped in a basement by a witch and a ghost, so you just have to believe him. But again, I never saw him get into the basement, so it is what it is, I guess. Also with the stories, I know I said I like them, but not all of them work. There's a few that just end with a jump scare, and something will just jump out at them, and that's the end, and you're like, okay, I guess that's how it ends. They also have one where it's just this wife and this husband, and the husband's always doing sex crimes to the wife. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I don't really want to watch all these sex crimes. I'm not into that. That's not cool for me. Trigger warning with that stuff as well. And so yeah, not all of the stories work. The last 2 stories I think are probably the best ones that definitely work. But Yeah, a lot of them are kind of tough to sit through or just end abruptly, which is never kind of a satisfying way to end your movie. So yeah, it is what it is. What else can I say with this movie? Well, I think if you've seen parts 1 and 2 and you enjoyed those, this is going to be more of the same, so you'll enjoy it as well. If you're not familiar with 1 and 2, I don't know if you'll enjoy it as much or at all, but definitely if it's getting to part 3, there's probably an audience out there. I'm not sure who that audience would be exactly, but if you've seen part 1 and 2 and enjoy it, then this might be something for you. As for my recommendation, well, you really have to be into that zero budget type of stuff where it's all over the place in terms of quality. So if that sounds like you, then yeah, check this one out. As for rating, well, I have to give it the score of 3, and that's the score for meh. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.